do the Sheriff's Blotter. There's a bubble gum I'm chewing today, by the way. Bubble gum. And look, I found this little Aveeno thing. I've been tapping it like crazy the last 48 hours. Crazy. Alright, so let's see if we can get through this. Sheriff's Blotter. And then if we have extra time, I'll go to the online county website where they have really spookier police log. Okay, alright. September 1st, a guitar amplifier valued at more than $950 was stolen. 2000 block of such and such. A golf cart was stolen. Comfortable here. A golf was stolen in the 900 block of such and such. A woman, age 26, was arrested for possessing and being under the influence of a controlled substance and shoplifting and then 200 blocks of the bowling. Next, between November 26th and 7th, a woman in the 900 block of such and such received multiple annoying phone calls. Next. A 26-year-old man was arrested for battery and violating his parole in the 700 block of such and such. More than $1,000 in property was stolen from the bedroom in the 1700 block of such and such. Someone used his elbow to batter a man in the 900 block of such and such. More than $1,000 in merchandise was stolen from such and such on the 800 block of such and such a street. Next, a man, age 24, was arrested for being under the influence of a controlled substance and possessing a silencer in the 700 block of such and such. That means he had a gun and he was going to silence a shooting. Terrible. Next, a thief broke a rear side window of a car and stole about $1,400 in property in the 800 block of such and such. More than $1,000 in property was stolen from a home in the 5,000 block of such and such. Next, a 27-year-old man was arrested on an outstanding warrant on 1,000 block of such and such. Up to $1,000 in property was stolen from a locked car. In the 200 block of such and such, a burglar entered the Learning Creativity Center in the 300 block of such and such with the intent to steal. Two men, aged 21 and 37, were arrested for receiving stolen property in the 800 block of such and such. Up to $1,000 in property was stolen from the Tommy Hilfiger store. Oh my gosh. And the 900 block of such and such. Terrible. Next, about $1,400 in property was stolen from a locked car in the 700 block of such and such. Next, more than $1,000 in property was stolen from an unlocked car in the 1700 block of such and such. Next, a thief broke the windows of a car at the country club and golfing facility and stole about $300 in property. A 25-year-old man was cited for petty theft in a 300 block of such and such. Next, a woman, age 29, was arrested for shoplifting and possessing a controlled substance in a 2000 block of such and such. About $240 in property was stolen from an unlocked car in the garage of a 2000 block of the golf country club facility. Next, 3 window screens and a window were broken at a residence in the 4000 block of such and such, resulting in $400 in damage. Next, a 27-year-old man was arrested on an outstanding warrant. And for being under the influence of a controlled substance in the first block of such and such a street. Between November 26th and December 2nd, police reported arresting 2 persons on suspicion of driving under the influence of a controlled substance and 9 people on various drug charges. 3 people were arrested for public intoxication. Okay, so now let's go to the website. Really, let's see. Now we can really see what's going on, because all this stuff is always spookier. Totally spooky. Okay. First, they're saying the work week could end on a wet and windy note. Strong storm approaching of Ventura County, Los Angeles County. Significant rain, strong winds, potential flooding Thursday through Friday. Marine Weather Forecast Office, LA and Ventura County. Be on alert. Here is what they are saying. The National Weather Service says that a storm system, Southern California, could bring healthy amounts of rain and very strong winds. Oh, that's good, because we need that. A strong storm system approaching California coast will bring rain to the area Thursday and Friday, and with the potential for moderate to heavy rain Thursday and Friday, Thursday day and Thursday night. Precipitation is expected to become showery on Friday, with snow levels dropping to near mountain pass level. Strong winds on Thursday and diminishing on Friday, potential for damaging winds, and the wet soil due to the rainfall. Be on lookout for downed trees, down power lines, power outages, flooding, and low-lying areas and roads. So that's starting Thursday. So today's Monday, so we're good. In addition, there could be a risk of flash flooding and debris. Anywhere to 1.5 to 1.5 inches for the coast and valley. Up to 1 to 3 inches in the foothills. Snow level falling to near this occurs, showers will bring light and scatter, resulting in minimal accumulation on passes such as the grapevine. That's Interstate 5 heading up to Georgia, going north. Motorcyclist killed in the PCH crash, Ventura County, PCH Pacific Coast Highway. The CHP reporting a motorcyclist was killed on a crash PCH on Sunday, 4:30 p.m. near Deer Creek Road. Initial reports are that the motorcyclist was northbound on PCH approaching Deer Creek when the motorcycle went out of control. I don't mean to laugh with that, but every time I read it, it says the motorcycle went out of control and onto the right-hand shoulder and flipped. Well, that's not funny, but the picture, you guys remember Pee Wee Herman? I believe it was his first movie. I know it was his first movie. I can't remember the name. Maybe Pee Wee's Big Adventure. Remember when Pee Wee gets on the Harley motorcycle and he heads off, and within seconds he crashes and flips. It's just terrible. But every time I read about a motorcycle went out of control, my brain goes back to that scene and I laugh every time. Although this is not a funny story. The writer was dead at the scene and no other details have been released. It was terrible. Hate crime arrest after a stabbing near the mosque. The police say they've arrested a man on a hate crime and other charges following an incident that resulted in a stabbing outside a mosque in the county Saturday night. Commander such and such tells the county news that officers responded to a disturbance call on such and such a street shortly after 11 p.m. and found a 36-year-old man suffering from stab wounds. He was taken to the hospital and listed stable condition. He says police investigated the incident and ended up arresting 29-year-old such and such, John such and such, charging him with a hate crime. Jail records indicate that he was booked to the county jail for 2 felonies, making criminal threats and violation of civil rights, and misdemeanor disturb the peace. Says that a second suspect, a Hispanic male in his late 20s, 5'6", 5'10", 140 to 190 pounds, with a buzz haircut and dark hoodie, was seen running from the scene and is still being sought for questioning in connection with the incident. According to court records, he pleaded guilty in 2015 to a misdemeanor charge of making terrorist threats. Also in 2015, he was arrested and ordered to stand trial. For felony criminal threats, misdemeanor vandalism, and other charges, but all charges were dismissed when prosecutors declined to take the case to trial. Terrible. Police investigate a local shooting, but they're getting no help from the victim. The shooting happened Sunday night right before 7:30 p.m. 300 block of such and such. When officers arrived on scene, they found 23-year-old son of such and such a man with 2 gunshot wounds to his legs. And police say that when officers tried to question him, The victim refused to say anything. He was taken to County Hospital to be treated for what the police say are not threatening wounds. Witnesses tell police they saw a black Honda Accord leaving the scene after the shooting. Anyone has further information on this incident or suspect information, please contact Sergeant such and such, and you will remain anonymous. Arrest made after vehicle burglary report. Update. Deputies arrested a man who was seen fleeing from the scene of a reported vehicle burglary, and they are still looking for the second suspect. Around 4:30 in the morning on Sunday, they received a call for vehicle burglary in progress at the south end of such and such street near the park. The caller reported 2 suspects. Deputies arrived. They saw at least one running across the park into the surrounding residential neighborhood. Deputies set up a perimeter and brought in a canine unit and began to search for the suspect through the backyard. Around 6 a.m., the suspect was seen running again near the park and was chased by deputies and the canine to the area of such and such a street. And the suspect, 28-year-old male, was taken into custody after they deployed taser tactic. Fire and ambulance were dispatched to check out the suspect because of the use of the taser, and the suspect was medically cleared, was being interviewed by detectives at the police department. The 20-year-old Antonio such and such was booked in county jail for resisting arrest, but no charges have been filed leading to the vehicle burglary, which still remains under investigation. And deputies are continuing to look for that second suspect and also trying to determine whether one vehicle was burglarized. A pedestrian struck by a vehicle on the 101. Oh my goodness. Ventura Highway. 101 freeway. A pedestrian suffered major injuries after being struck by a vehicle on the 101 freeway. 3:30 Sunday morning, southbound 101. I was in the far left lane. Oh, and the driver hit him, stayed at the scene, and he was taken to the hospital. Had the freeway shut down for a time. No other details were released. Oh my goodness, that's terrible. Man found shot to death is now identified. Update. Man have released names of a man found shot to death. Friday morning. Shooting. 25-year-old Giovanni was found at 6 a.m. So a man was reportedly passed out on the side of the sidewalk. When police arrived, they discovered that he was fatally shot and a victim of homicide. Police say that about 6 hours earlier, an officer had checked out that same area after receiving calls of shots fired, but the officer reported no evidence of a crime or anything suspicious. The street was shut down for much of the day as the major crimes scene unit and investigators worked to process evidence and canvass the apartments looking for witnesses. Police are now trying to determine a motive and find a suspect in this killing. They told the news that they do not believe it was a random act of violence, and they believe that he was a targeted man, and they have not ruled out gang-related involvement. Police also say that this killing has nothing to do with the shooting on such and such a street earlier in the week that left one person dead and another one wounded. They know who the shooter was in that incident, and they say there's no connection with Friday's fatal shooting. Oh no, driver arrested for a hit and run that injured a bicyclist. Oh my goodness. Well, don't you just feel bad? I feel bad for always feel bad for, obviously, the victim, but then the driver, oh my goodness. Update. Police have arrested the driver of a car that they say struck and seriously injured a bicyclist Friday morning. Around 10 a.m., 33-year-old Jasmine such and such was driving a dark green Toyota. For unknown reasons, she moved into the bicycle lane and allegedly struck a 62-year-old Moorpark woman. Was riding in the same direction, and she kept going at a high rate of speed. And the bicyclist was rushed to the hospital, major injuries. They're looking for the vehicle. Around 3 p.m., they found the vehicle and the suspect. I was booked into jail for DUI, drug and felony. Bail was set at $50,000. If you witness this traffic collision, please call. Water main break partially closes main highway Friday. Update. The CHP says a broken water main has partially closed a major county roadway, possibly for the entire day. The water main broke late Thursday night. County road crews and water district workers say to repair it, only one side of the road is closed. Traffic is being diverted to the other side, both directions. However, you can go through. Just use alternate routes. A warning to the public after an incident with a child in the park. The police want to talk to a man involved in what they describe as an incidents of child annoyance in the park this week. They say it happened Wednesday around 5 p.m. and a 9-year-old child was playing in the park, was contacted by an unknown middle-aged man who gave the child some candy and said, "This is my Christmas gift to you." What do you say? The man then asked where did the child live. About then, the child's mother noticed the man talking with her child and went over to see what's going on. Police say the man left before she got there. Police described the man as a Hispanic male in his 50s, around 5'8", tall, with a heavy build, black hair, gray on the sides, and a black goatee. She's wearing a blue hooded sweatshirt and black jeans. They want to remind parents to talk to their children about the importance of not talking to strangers and to never accept anything from someone whom they don't know. If you have any further information on this incident or suspect, please contact Detective such and such, and you can stay anonymous. Anger over a traffic ticket lands a man in jail. I can see that can happen to people so easily. The county sheriff's department says a man's reaction to being found guilty of a traffic violation has landed him in jail on a much more serious charge. They say that after the judge found 31-year-old such and such guilty of a driving violation in traffic court on Wednesday. That he is alleged to have threatened to blow up the building and shoot the officer to death. The court reported the threats to the Sheriff's Department, and Gibson was arrested for making criminal threats a felony and jailed with bail set at $200. No explosives nor weapons were found either at the Juvenile Justice Center nor at his residence, and he's due back in court on Friday. And he's going to be arraigned now on his criminal threat charges. That's terrible, you guys. The man who killed his wife has now been found, and he's dead. Dead. Let's see. Oh yeah, this went on for a couple months. The county sheriff's department says a man we've been wanted since October in connection with the death of his wife was found dead, and what the authorities say is a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Authorities had been looking for him since his wife was found suffering from what would be fatality inside their home. Morning of such and such. Detectives say he severely bludgeoned her and she died later. The deputies in the county responded to a report of a deceased male. Through the use of fingerprints, they identified the man as Jose such and such, and the coroner determined he committed suicide from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Wednesday, 1 dead, 1 critical in local shooting. An update. Police say 1 person is dead, 1 critical following a shooting Wednesday morning. Around 10 a.m., someone called to say they just heard they just shot 2 people. Police say the person was waiting for them at the residence when they arrived. Officers found 1 shooting victim dead at the scene, and a second was located at St. Such and Such Hospital, and then rushed to the medical facility in critical condition from multiple gunshot wounds. Police say he's expected to recover. The person who reported the shooting then told police that the shooter is currently detained and is being questioned by police. Police tell us that the shooter and the 2 individuals who were shot are all males, and it appears they all know each other. They say the person who was the shooter and 1 person at the hospital are in their 30s, but they aren't releasing the age of the man who was killed. It is believed to have happened on the property of the man who was the shooter. Major Crimes Department is investigating it, and along with the county DA. No other details are available right now. We will update you soon. Breaking ground on a long-awaited harbor project at the Ventura Harbor. It's going to have a 300-unit apartment complex at the Ventura Harbor. It's been planning and approval stage for 16 years. Oh my goodness. And there'll also be a waterfront park, a promenade, as well as 104 boat slips. The buildings will be up to 3 stories tall and designed in a Spanish colonial style. And it's located right in the middle of the harbor on the largest undeveloped parcel of land in the harbor. I think I know where that's at. City and harbor officials say the project will bring much needed rental units to the Ventura County, restaurants, shops, and the harbor. Arrest made in a local stabbing. Police say, They've made an arrest in connection with a stabbing that happened last week in the city. Police say a 20-year-old Raphael such and such was taken into custody at a prearranged location in town. It was booked county jail for assault with a deadly weapon. Bail set at $30,000 and is due in court for arraignment Thursday. He's accused of stabbing another man at the beach. And they say the investigation to the incident led to the stabbing is ongoing. Ventura seeks public help in a homicide on Sunday. Police are looking for suspects and motives for what they say are two unrelated homicides on early Sunday. I'd say 27-year-old such and such and 30-year-old such and such were shot after they left the such and such a restaurant at around 2 in the morning on the driveway leading out of the parking lot. Oh my gosh, I know exactly where that's at. It was one of my karaoke hangouts back in the day. He died at the scene and the other man drove himself to the hospital. He's still recovering. Police believe that the two men were targeted by their assailants, but that's all they'll say at this point. Meanwhile, police now say that the 51-year-old transient, Rito such and such, was found stabbed to death at a bus stop around 7 a.m. that same day and was actually killed much earlier, probably an hour or so after the other shooting. Police based that in part on the fact that some people in the area heard screams around that time, around 2 in the morning. Anyone with information is asked to call the police department or Crime Stoppers, and you would be anonymous. You can leave an anonymous tip. Oxnard rape defendant pleads guilty. One of 2 men arrested and charged in connection with the rape of an exchange student has pleaded guilty. 34-year-old such and such could have faced up to 100 years to life in prison when he was sentenced on February 15th next year. But they have agreed to a 32-year sentence. In 2001, the then 17-year-old female victim walking along the avenue when she was abducted and sexually assaulted. It was not until 2012 that he was arrested and charged in connection with a crime. Meanwhile, his co-defendant in the case, 37-year-old such and such, is scheduled to go on trial later this month. He's facing kidnapping, rape, and other charges, and both men remain in the county jail and not eligible for release. Man guilty of murder in a fatal DUI crash. I have relatives are from Indiana. They say crash instead of crash. It's kind of funny. Crash. I see a lot of words kind of different. It's kind of interesting. Anyways, next, the county jury. A county jury on Monday convicted a local man of murder in a fatal DUI crash in the county 3 years ago. After a 2-week trial, they found 29-year-old such and such guilty of second-degree murder, DUI causing injury, and driving with a revoked suspended license. They also found true a special allegation that he drove with a blood alcohol level above 15 or higher, 0.15 or higher. Prosecutors say that shortly after 2 a.m. June 2013, he left a bar and was traveling at 120 miles an hour. when he failed to negotiate a curve, lost control, and ran off the road. I know exactly where this street is. Oh my gosh. The vehicle flipped several times as it rolled down an embankment and ended on its top. According to CHP, the two passengers were wearing seatbelts, but the passenger in the rear was partially ejected out the rear window and killed. Oh my goodness. Front seat passenger and driver were injured, and he had a prior DUI-related conviction and convictions for driving without a license. And he is also facing immigration status hold, immigration something, INS something, hold according to jail records, and he's facing 18 years to life in prison when sentenced in January. He remains in jail until then. Homicide victims identified. County Examiner's Office released names of two men who died, separate homicides, on Sunday. 27-year-old such and such died from multiple gunshot wounds. Second victim recovering at the hospital. No word from the police about a motive or any arrest. Connection with that incident. Meanwhile, a transient was found stabbed to death at a bus stop around 7:30 in the morning and was identified as 51-year-old such and such. And again, the police have said nothing about a possible motive or suspects in those killings. Oh my God. Oh my God. Well, there you have it, you guys. Let's go through there kind of really quick and see if there's something else spooky in the water. Not gonna add to our blotter fun. What? Murder right here on the front page. How did I miss this? Murder case makes its way through the court. Deadly dispute. Oh my goodness. If convicted of murder, Tyler such and such, age 22, is eligible for sentencing under the 3 strikes law. A local man accused of stabbing and killing a high school student last year appeared in court last month, but it may be some time before the case goes to trial. He attended a pretrial conference in November that was continued to January. What in the world? I never heard about this. No. Now let's see what's going on here. It's terrible. I love the spooky stories. It's standard for a murder case to take 1 to 3 years to get into a trial setting, says Deputy such and such. There's some investigation that needs to be done, especially in homicide cases. A young man was charged with murder with a special circumstance. He used a knife to kill such and such, who was fatally stabbed in August of last year during a fight between 2 groups of young men outside Taco Bell. Oh my goodness, I go through that Taco Bell all the time. I drive through Taco Bell all the time. That's my go-to Taco Bell place. Also faces charges of trying to dissuade a witness from reporting the crime. The victim, age 16, underwent surgery but died the next morning from a single stab wound to the chest. Oh my goodness. I just feel bad for everybody. The teen football player had recently transferred from one city to the other city. Such and such was arrested at a Riverside hotel hours later. He was indicted by the grand jury. February said pretrial conferences provide an opportunity for case management and further investigations on both sides. He had been arrested multiple times before he was charged with this murder. He pleaded guilty to petty theft in 2012, according to court records, and was arrested for armed robbery in 2013, and he spent time in juvenile correctional facility for armed robbery. He was arrested in 2014 on suspicion of resisting arrest, and again in March 2015 on suspicion of being under the influence of a controlled substance. He pleaded guilty to a hit and run in April 2015 and was arrested and pleaded guilty to being drunk in public just a few weeks before his stabbing. If convicted, he is eligible for sentencing under the 3 strikes law because he has 2 prior felonies. The defense attorney did not return calls for comment. Oh my goodness. Well, let's go back over that paper. See what else we have in here. Here's one. On the second page. What is this? So, written by Stephanie Sumo. And that other article was written by the same lady, Stephanie Sumo. Let's see. A man wanted in his wife's death has been found. Oh, we read that in the blotter, but let's read about it again because it's like a spooky story. Officials say he shot himself. The lengthy search for the local man, who police say killed his wife in October. The search is now ended. He was found dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound on Sunday at a ranch in an area. What was that? Imperial County. They responded to a call on December 4th of a deceased male on the property. So the fingerprint analysis determined that it was Jose such and such. And the discovery comes a month and a half after the county sheriff's police department said they arrived at the home, 400 block of such and such, after receiving a call about a domestic violence incident sometime in October, on October 28th. Authorities say Jose such and such, age 43, bludgeoned his wife to death. Police confirmed that the couple's 2 sons, age 6 and 8, and another family member were home during that domestic incident. And Jose fled the home before the police arrived. And wife was taken to a hospital where she died. Whether a gun or a suicide note were found at the site of this self-inflicted suicide still remains unclear. here's a weird scandal. Something about an attorney who owes a health agency has had other disputes. Apparently there's this attorney who, I'll just update you about this scandalous story. Somehow some attorney was dating or was romantically involved somehow with a lady at the healthcare department at the county. And between the two of them, there was like $200,000 or $400,000 worth of overbilling. Some huge scandal. Let's see what he has to say now. But first the attorney says, I'm totally innocent. Now they're finding that he has had other disputes about the same problem throughout the years. And he's been ordered to return $172,000 in payment. He's a Sacramento attorney contesting to repay thousands of dollars in legal fees. The county records show that he unsuccessfully sued these companies for breach of contract. He lost this huge suit about arbitration, and he submitted his complaint. He requested that the judge order the Roadrunner Company to pay him $200,000 plus interest, along with additional funds that the court seemed proper. And he represented himself in the matter, and he also requested that the law firm pay for his damages. Oh my goodness. A document detailing the arbitration showed that he at one point said he should be paid $3 million for his services. Court records show that the issue began in 2013 when the Transportation Commission needed a company to help the buses running in the county. Roadrunner got the contract and hired this attorney as her if you write up the proposal for that job bid. Following year, they withdrew and revised its request for bids, and Roadrunner then submitted a second proposal written by another attorney that they had used in the past. Though Roadrunner changed attorneys due to the disagreement over the fees, the attorney says that Roadrunner's second bid proposal used significant portions of the original proposal that he wrote and then asked for permission. So, another attorney with the firm was named in the complaint, and they had completed numerous bid proposals for Roadrunner before. The company even hired this attorney. Such and such claim that he used significant portions. It's completely unfounded. So here's this attorney representing himself and making these outrageous claims. That's crazy. My opinion is that his proposals didn't warrant a thorough reading, given his obvious lack of experience in the transportation field. Transportation Commission favored the second proposal that Roadrunner submitted, and the company was awarded a 9-year contract worth more than $70 million. An attorney alleged that the law firm advised Missouri gave advice in undisclosed actions to reduce his fees because he had charged too much, and which caused a complete breakdown in the business and relationship to Roadrunner. Roadrunner and the attorneys named in his complaint challenged the allegations. Defendants criticized this attorney for rambling, confusing narratives filled with opinion, hearsay, conjecture, belief, record show on and on. That is a huge scandal, and he's supposed to be a professional attorney. So his office failed to obtain a legal fee agreement. Maybe there's nothing to prevent him from getting one. A legal fee agreement spells out the terms. Ultimately, a panel of arbitrators appointed sided with Roadrunner and determined the company did not owe his attorney more than $7,000 that it had already paid him. And it said that the non-binding arbitration with Roadrunner was a less than satisfactory procedure. Roadrunner wrote an email saying that the case is over and the company has no further comment on the matter. In 2011, Ferguson, healthcare district, all these counties, for allowing his fees, all these complaints coming in for this attorney, and complaining that the fees climbed to up to $14,000, despite that the contract stated a $5,000 cap. So he was hired to help the legal local county healthcare agency. Okay, so now it's coming down to the local county. This a huge scandal with a healthcare agency, county. But all this other stuff was all these other counties and debacles and scandals he was involved in. So let's see. So he was hired to help the local health agency, which was at risk of being dissolved for failing to provide services to the resident. Though leaders at the healthcare district said that the attorney's bill was reasonable, local media and the Taxpayer Association took charge at the agency's heavy redaction of bills and description of what he did to earn his fees. Whether his bill is legitimate is impossible to determine because he and the board have inappropriately redacted details that would help determine how his time had been spent. Indeed, the district has illegally stonewalled attempts to obtain public records, according to an editorial. In 2012, the healthcare district was stripped of power and it was disbanded. He said that Northern California Health Agency was enormously pleased with the services that he had provided. And they considered me, as far as I could tell, as an absolute hero. The attorney is now at odds with the local healthcare place after failing to appear in court for an arbitration panel hearing during the summer. He was ordered to pay the district $172,000 in legal fees that the district alleges were improperly charged in connection with a remodeling project at the adult daycare center. So all that other stuff was stuff that had happened outside of the local. Okay. So the attorney's role in the remodeling project was detailed in a separate lawsuit that the district filed, alleging a breach of contract and fraudulent disbursement of county healthcare district funds. So now here's where this romantic scenario gets involved. This lady hires this attorney and and she worked from 2011 to 2015, during which time he was paid more than $425,000 in legal fees, and the suit caused false and grossly inflated. The attorney is named, but he's not a defendant in the lawsuit, though he is accused of conspiring with Linda such and such to manufacture unnecessary and inflated legal fees. The attorney insists that he has never overbilled a client in more than his 30-year career. Our suit claims that a lady, Linda such and such, and the attorney were involved in a 9-year romantic relationship that came to the district's attention only after her last day on the job in June 2015. District officials say I found numerous voicemails on her work cell phone that revealed the romantic nature of their relationship. The attorney was fired in 2015 after the healthcare district started questioning much of his invoices related to the daycare center project. A review by the district, the lawsuits have found the attorney had billed for a significant amount of time he spent on the phone and with others discussing various non-legal aspects of the project and romantic phone calls. The suit also states that it has turned a relatively simple project into something more grandiose. According to the suit, Linda such and such opposed the move to fire this attorney, and the issue will likely head to arbitration. The attorney says he has never overbilled the client. These types of things can ruin my life, and I've done absolutely nothing wrong. He said, I have been scrupulously honest with my client. I have an impeccable reputation for honesty and professionalism. Mr. Such and Such law firm represents our newspaper on First Amendment issues. Interesting. Now, who wrote that one? See, that was a huge scandal. Stephanie Sumo. She's the same. I guess she's the, she must be the blotter lady. Because she does blotter and she does all these scandalous spooky stories. Oh my goodness. That was fun. I sure enjoyed that. I did a lot of tapping too. Do you guys like this? You have to let me know what you like, what kind of tapping and stuff. Sometimes I get carried away with tapping and clinking. I forget what I get so relaxed and just for watching.